So I'm going to try to finish this bag. Hopefully it'll let us, make it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to sew this little tag on before I do any more sewing. You just want to pin it, try to pin it in the middle, which y'all can't see, but give me a second. No, I'll show you. Okay, that's about as good as I can get it. Hi! Hi, Joey. So I'm still, when I quit the live yesterday, I legitimately had a headache and just went to bed, did not finish the bag. So hopefully I'll be able to finish it today. Again, never ever have your sewing machine on when you're not using it, right? Just a little safety precaution. What I'm doing now is I'm just sewing this little tag on. Hi, Mark. Hi, Freeside. Sorry. Got a big old view of my wrinkly forehead. But I'm just going to sew this on real quick. I like these labels. Let me move this out of the way. Alright, one side is done. I really need to go. You know what? Let me go get my nippers. I don't really like jerking out those scissors. Give me just a second. I'll be right there. Now, I don't have my microphone on today because my phone needs to charge. So, while my phone is charging, these are my nippers. I'm just letting it charge. And see, it's kind of overcast out today, but for some reason the internet wants to work, which I'm totally okay with. Alright, I'll need my pins. I'll need them in just a few moments. Hello to those of you coming in. I'm going to go ahead and try to finish up the bag that I was working on yesterday. For those of you that are curious, try to get that straight. Kind of helps when they make them straight, right? This one's not totally straight, but it'll be okay. And with this again, I just do the back stitch to make sure it's secure. Very simple. Kind of get rid of all these loose threads. I don't particularly like them, so we get them. I just cut them off. I don't care for them. Alright, and now that that is sewn on there, I can go ahead and pin this back so that it is straight. And see, you don't really need that many pins, so to speak, to sew these. And some people don't use pins, but I find that they help me with the fabric as far as keeping it lined up as close to what you want it to be. Hi, Gypsy. Hi, Undercover Mermaid. So I'm going to attempt to try to finish this bag that I was making yesterday, or show you guys how. It's completely simple. Reversible bag, and essentially the same things you do with the bags you do when you're making masks, if you want to make them reversible as well. And after sewing about 1,000 masks, because my grandkids were always losing them. Well, I cut that one to pieces. But I've got all kinds of material for, see, here's a mask that's already been cut out, double layer mask. Same cotton fabric I used. What I used to buy is those quilting things, those fat quarters, and just that's the material. And of course I got like girl stuff and boy stuff and just odds and ends stuff. Here's another one with the fat quarter that's sewn but not cut. How I managed to do that, but it's reversible too, see? Oh, I see how I did it. I just sewed the fronts, but this is the one side and this is the other side. It's actually a half and half mask. So this would be what the mask looks like when it's finished. I was just trying something new out. But we don't need mask anymore, so I've got a bunch of stuff to make mask, and nowhere for them to go, right? They absolutely are just sitting here collecting dust. Alright, so I've got this side pinned, and remember, like I said yesterday, it's right side to right side, so the side that you want to see, or that you're going to see, you put them together and sew on the wrong side, essentially, so that the part that you see well, I thought I sewed some of this yesterday. This must be, oh, this is the one I sewed yesterday. Oh my goodness. We are so discombobulated this morning. I am absolutely sorry. So wrong sides to wrong sides. And and most home sewing machines come like this, where you can move this and make it a free arm, because that we'll have to use that later. They also come with like a compartment where you can store your needles and your little gizmos and gadgets, because believe it or not, sewing machines get dusty and you do have to clean them out, and they don't recommend that you use an air duster, because all it does is shove the dust back into the machine. So anyway, this one's all pinned up as well. We're going to go ahead and get her did. That one's got the tag, the little tag on the inside, so I won't put another tag on this one. That one's got a tag on the outside, so they'll be a little bit different. Sorry. I know you're probably wondering what I'm doing. I'm just getting the thread out of the way. I hate that. And again, you want to sew as close to the edge as possible on these bags. It just gives you more room inside the bag itself. And again, I do that back stitching because it strengthens the corners. I will do that on every corner. And I tend to sew very slowly, especially when I have pins in the garment or the material, so that I can grab them and get them out and keep it lined up. And essentially all you do with the sewing machine, right, it does all the work for you. All you're doing is guiding the material in there. Because, and I'll show you here in a minute after I get this piece sewn. I'm going to have to change out bobbin. Yeah, I ran out of bobbin. Goodness. Wow. Y'all get to see how to do bobbins. That's great. That's a nifty little thing. And that's where your bobbin goes. Let me move you a little bit closer so I can show you what I was talking about earlier. Hopefully this little boom arm. Alright, so right there, underneath the, actually I can take the foot off. Let me just take the foot off. These right here, these rough edges are your feed dogs, or what are called feed dogs. So that is what actually moves back and forth to move your material through the sewing machine. And it's wonderful. Oops. I'm so sorry. Give me just a second and I'll have y'all back up. I moved it a bit too much. I didn't have it tightened down. Sorry, guys. But we will. I'll show you how to make a bobbin. It's quite fun, too. Just watching it. Because essentially that's all you do is you watch it. Wonderful thing about sewing machines is they basically do all the work for you. Sorry guys, I am trying to hook you back up to the table so that you're not falling all over the place on this boom arm. I didn't have it tight enough before. So hopefully this will be tight enough. Alright. Give me just a second, guys. So sorry. Well, that's good enough. Alright, y'all are looking at the sewing machine here. So you want to be looking at the top. Because that's, well, shoot, hold on. I'm so sorry. Give me just a second. This is just about the scuffiest. Yeah, just. I don't have my ducks in a row this morning. This was completely on the fly. And I don't know what's going on with the boom arm. It wants to be an arsehole today. Sorry, I know you guys are getting an up close and personal look at the sewing machine there. Or whatever you're looking at. I'm not sure what's going on. Alright, that should be where I need it to be. I'm going to tighten her up. We will get everything going back to sewing and explaining what I'm doing. I'm not very good at this live stream stuff when I'm not at my computer, if you couldn't tell. All right, you got a big old good look at my my crafting corner, huh? All right, so trying to get it all in, right? Everything that you'll need to see. But essentially, see if I can move that to where y'all can see it a little bit better. Anyway, I can remove that. That'll help you see. There we go. That's about as good as I'm going to get it. Okay, so the bead is up. So you just want to pull your thread out. And it has a diagram on the top. And what you want to do, this little thing right here is the tensioner for the bobbin. So you'll thread it in there. If I can get it in. There we go. Get it in the bobbin, or cut it to where you have some nice, or a nice even piece of thread, and you want to thread it through the holes on either side of the bobbin. It's a clear bobbin. This is the one that came with the machine. They no longer do metal bobbins in the home sewing machines. And you just want to grab it and make sure that you have enough to hold your hand on. And you slide it down on there. Slide it down on there, and then you just push it back. And it actually reads on my computer that we are doing a bobbin. And you just press the pedal and you kind of hold this up out of the way. Then after you've got several wraps around it, you can go ahead and cut that because it won't come off. And just do this till it stops, because it'll stop. Alrighty, and then you push it out like that, you pull it off, and your bobbin is now ready to go. And if your sewing machine is anything like mine, it's got a diagram. It's got a diagram on how to put the bobbin in, and I always just kind of lay it up there and make sure that I'm going the right way. Because there's definitely a right and wrong way to put your bobbin in. Then you lace it around this thing, put your lid on, and it cuts it automatically. Now I get to lace up the machine. Again, your machine should have a diagram. It's got arrows all over mine. And you know, if you're new to the sewing world, I would highly suggest you get very familiar with threading your sewing machine, because it helps. Mine comes with a manual automatic threader, which really makes no sense, but it's got this little thing that that'll help you thread it. So it's quite nifty. All right. Hey, Rapper. All right, so we get to start over where we left off on this. And that bobbin shouldn't run out for a long while, so probably 2 or 3 more bags. Just kind of line your thread line, the thread line, with the middle of your needle, with the middle of your foot. Should be just about where the thread goes, yeah. Again, I just cut all the threads that I don't like all the extra loose thread. I just don't. Alright, so that is both sides of this one done. We will start on the, oh no, I gotta do the bottom, don't I? Yay! I almost forgot. Alright, and all of these are straight stitches. You can you can change your machine to a zigzag stitch if that's what you prefer. I generally just keep it on a straight stitch. It's much easier. And I'm not going to pin the bottom because I pinned the sides. It should be, well, it's going to sew it where I need it to be sewed, so. And to me, this is the funnest part about making the bag, is just sewing it. I love sewing. Frankie, you gotta go on somewhere. You can't be under my feet. Sorry. Alright. So I can go ahead and take the pins out of the top of this one, because this part is done. And I'm going to leave this one inside out, because I'll show you once I get to it how to actually make the bag. Okay, there's that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, and I know I've already got a Handmade with Love on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and put another label on the inside of this, just because I think they're fun and cute, and why not? YOLO, right? And what I'm going to try and do is pin it far enough down to where it won't move, but I won't actually run the risk of it running through the machine like the other ones. So I can just zip on through and not have to worry about undoing that one. Alright, and again, you just sew down the sides first and then the bottom, and this part will be done. Then we'll go on to the next step. And if this was like, if this was a pre-recorded video, I just, fast forward through it. But since it's live, y'all get to actually watch me do it. Which I think is fun too. And again, I'm sewing as close to the edge of the material as possible. Wow, shoot. Okay, now that's good enough. There really, honestly, no explanation needed, right? See, I was able to not have to worry about pulling that pin out. I'm going to go ahead and take that one out. Since I'm so close to the bottom. Again, what I like to do on the corners is just do that back up stitch a little bit. And depending on what model sewing machine you have, like I've got a Brother sewing machine here too, that my boss at work gave me, because she used to sew and make quilts and stuff, and she does not do that anymore. So she gave me her sewing machine that's got a table and everything, and I love this machine. This was the very first new machine I got, and I love it. I love it. It's computerized, and I like it. A little bit more expensive than the regular, regular schmegular sewing machine. But you could do these on a regular sewing machine. All it needs to have is the straight stitch function. I like this one because you can like sew little fancy doodads, and the newer one of this machine, you can actually sew letters on it. So once I save up enough money, I'm going to get the newer one of this one. I like Singer. I don't know. I'm just more familiar with Singer than I am Brother. And my serger is a Janome, which is good for a home sewing machine or serger. Was told it was a better platform than Singer. I'm just much more familiar with this sewing machine than I am any other sewing machine. And when I first started out, I actually got a used Singer. It was just a little white one, and all it had was like the straight stitch and the zigzag stitch, and basically those are the two stitches you need to kind of make anything. Most everything else comes with like practicing and getting to know your machine and all that good stuff. But I absolutely love my sewing machine. It is a bit dusty, but yeah. Alright, so we're going to sew down the other side now. Alright, and sorry if I know that I'm not kind of communicating with you guys as far as that goes. After I get the bag done, we can sit and chat for a few minutes. But it'll probably be close enough time for me to go live again, because I am going live and doing karaoke this afternoon as well. I just wanted to get this bag done. Because if you didn't know, I'm making this bag for Mr. Rabbit, White Rabbit's hubby. He liked her bag, and that way they'll match. Because when I went up to vacation with her, I had made her a bag like this and just took it to her because I didn't have her doll finished. And, she made that her bin store bag, because I think she's able to take that in the bin store with her. And if not, that's okay too, Rules are rules. Alright, now all you do is sew down the bottom. Hey Lulu! I got my hair up in a bun today. I decided to get my hair out of my face. Vape break. And for whatever reason, the live function on the phone is working. Actually, I changed a setting on YouTube. When I went into my studio, it said that I was using a high latency, or that I had it set at high latency, and so they recommended ultra low latency, and that is like Greek to me, so I just said okay, because I didn't have a clue what that meant. So maybe yesterday was where I was using more bandwidth than my phone could function on, you know. And again, all you want to do is sew as close to the edge of the material as possible. And yes, I do sew a little bit slower than the normal person. I just... This machine can actually go really fast. I like sewing slower. I feel like I have more control. And if y'all didn't notice, Frankie's hanging out with me. He's over there in his little cat hammock. He's gotten so big. Okay. He's usually underfoot when I'm trying to press the pedal on the sewing machine. And I didn't show you on this other one, because I don't need to, well, I'm going to go ahead, just kind of trim the corners, but don't trim like where you sewed at the very bottom. And there's a reason for that. It just makes it easier for the corners to come out. Now, let me remove the pins before I stick myself with them. We're still going to need the pins because the next part is almost, well, it's the more delicate part of it. It's the part where you have to remove this off the sewing machine, because you're actually going to need the free arm to sew, because you're going to sew around the bag and attach the handles and all that good stuff, which I will show you. I cut them earlier this morning, and I'm going to turn y'all around. Hopefully I'm going to turn you around, and hopefully we can get it situated to where y'all can see the ironing board, because that's where I'm going to have to do the pinning for that, and then we'll go back to sewing. Sorry, y'all were crooked. Okay, here's my pins. Hold on just a second, I gotta get. Okay, so now that I have sewed both of these long ways and at the bottom, and left the top open, this one's going to stay the same, and this one you're going to turn right side out. Oh, did I trim that? I did. So you'll turn this one right side out, and what I like to do is, I got this in the bag with my stuffing for my crochet stuff. But what I like to do with this is kind of just go in there and poke the corners out. So that they're, out. And at this time, you can go ahead and iron it. I'm not going to, because, yeah, I mean, it's just an extra step. It's an extra step that some people like. I am just not going to do that. This gray one always throws me off because it looks like it. Okay, so you've got this one turned right side out. And what you do is or what I do is I kind of just fold it like this and stuff it inside. And unwrap it, unfold it, and kind of give it a shake. And line up seam to seam, the seams on either side of it. I hope y'all can see that. I'm just all over the place this morning. Seam to seams. And I know why people iron their seams, especially on garments, right? It makes it a lot easier. So essentially you've got one bag inside the other, and which makes it reversible, so you can reverse it once it's all sewn. and you know, depending on what day it is or what you're feeling that day, you can have a gray and black or a white and gray bag. So it's essentially 2 bags in one. Okay. Now that you pretty much got them lined up as good as you're going to get them, sorry, you want to take your handles and with this webbing especially, in order for them not to fray, what I do is I take a lighter and I run it across the edge and kind of tamp it down. Burn the edges of them so that it doesn't fray. So what you want to do is you want to kind of flatten it out and make sure that, because if you twist it, you're going to have a twist in your handle. So you kind of want to flatten it out and position it. Look on the outside of the bag, make sure that that's where you want it. Tuck them in. You know, and depending on, you know, if you want to do the zigzag and all that square stuff that are on like reasonable shopping bags. So what you do is you take it and you sandwich it in between 2 layers. And you pin it. And what I do with the handles is I pin them down here so that I can actually sew and not have to worry about taking out the pin at that very moment. That's a big headache for me, to have to worry about taking out the pin while I'm sewing over the handle. Trying to make sure I got them about even. Hope y'all can hear me. Like I said, I don't have my microphone on today because my phone actually needed to charge. So it's on charge. So while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple pins. Make sure I don't have but 2 of the layers, right? And pin them together, sort of like a sewing guide, or it just kind of keeps it together while you're still trying to manipulate the fabric and you know, put the other handle piece on, because the other handle piece is next. So you just kind of essentially flip it over. Because you've already mapped out where you want the handle to go, all you got to do is kind of match it on the other side with the other handle. Simple. Just kind of making sure the bags are even. And again, you kind of just lay it out. You know, lay it out flat, and then take the ends that you flattened and shove it in the bag in essentially the same spot you have the other one, because it would be kind of awkward to have a bag that the handles were cattywampus or off. I mean, they can be off, you know, a millimeter or two. It's not going to hurt anything. But the closer you get them together, the more streamlined the bag's going to be. And again, make sure you only pin through the 3 layers, not all of them, because I've done that. You stuff it in. You also want to make sure that when you are pinning these on that they're relatively the same size, because it does make it awkward. See, I told you I did it. I did it with this one. Lord. No, I didn't. I just missed it. Hold on, guys. Gotta fix my mistake. There's that. And the closer to the bottom of the handle that you pin it, it just makes it easier to sew, because you're not having to worry about are you going to sew over a straight pin. My mom never removed any straight pins when she sewed, and I don't know how she didn't break a bunch of needles. It always amazed me watching my mom sew. Of course, that's what she did for a living. She sewed for a living. So now that you've got all this pinned, and see, there's the tag that I sewed in earlier. It's on the outside of the bag, and then this one has the other tag on the front. But now that you've got your handles pinned, you can now go over to the sewing machine, which is where we're going, and we're going to finish off the bag. And I'll turn y'all back around. Sorry, guys. I know that's a lot of movement. Get y'all back down here to where y'all can see. And I hope this helps you guys, for real. Because I was terrified of my sewing machine when I first got it. Absolutely terrified. Okay, cool. And this is a bit of a finicky part, but what I like to do is just kind of pick a starting spot, right? I generally like to start on a seam. And this is probably the hardest part of sewing this bag, but it's not really hard, it's just finicky, right? You have to manipulate the material where you need it to go. Alright, and again, I like to sew as close to the top as I possibly can. It's always nice if you remember to keep your pin box open so you don't have to completely stop and rearrange everything every time you take a pin out. Making sure I had the pedal the right way. And I do the back stitch quite a lot on the handles because the handles is what carries the weight. I also go back and do a little bit more sewing on it because it, like I said, it carries the weight of what you're carrying in the bag. So and that is totally up to you whether or not you want to do the extra stitches. You don't have to. You can just simply sew it like this and be done with it. I just prefer that they don't fall apart. And I feel like the more stitches you put in there, the better the bags will hold up over time. And I don't have to worry about this other handle coming off because it's already sewn on there. So I can be a little bit more indelicate with it, right? So to speak. Like I said, this is probably, well, this is the hardest part of making the bag, is just sewing the handles on. But once you do a couple bags, it's not really hard. It's more intimidating than hard. but in the home stretch, guys. You can stop right here and your bag is completed, and it is completely reversible. Whatever side you feel like wearing or having out that day. I like it better the other way. So that is the way that I'm going to have it. It's not my bag anyway. It is Mr. Rabbit's bag. And once I get Rabbit's doll finished, I will pack this in the box with it, and he will have himself a bag. I bet you he could probably take some of his work stuff in there. Alright, and what I was saying earlier about the handles is what carries the load. So this is just an extra step that I do. Doesn't mean you have to do it. But I kind of just sew like I've seen bags in stores made. You know, I do the up and down and the across. I started on the wrong side with that, darn it. No, maybe I can do it this way. And sometimes you don't even have to clip your yarn. You can just kind of turn your bag. Yeah, that'll work, won't it? No, it won't. I will have to clip the yarn because I started on the wrong side. Trying to figure out which way it sews, but I'll show you this way though. I mean, sometimes you can get fancy with it and not have to like with this one. Just turn it. And continue sewing. And essentially all I've done there is made the handle just that much more stronger by sewing that box. But I also do like the crisscross thingy too, because it's on all like the little Ollie's bags that I get. They always have the little box and then the crisscross. But I don't know. I don't want the straps falling off. I don't want the bag tearing up. So I just do this. And again, you don't have to. This is not even... It's not a have-to thing. Can't tell you how much thread I sweep up every time I sweep. It's a lot. Hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday. And don't forget, I am having karaoke at 4 p.m. What time is it? Oh, it's only 12:30. Cool. Alright, now I have to figure out how to sew the other line on there. Alright. And I just kind of do like the little crisscross. I don't know. I just feel like it gives the bag a little bit more strength. And to be quite honest, Rabbit's bag doesn't have this on it. Mine does, but Rabbit's don't. I didn't think about doing this until I did my bag. And I'm like, wait a minute. All the reusable shopping bags that I've ever seen, or even the canvas bags, that's how they sew that, is they do like the square and then the crisscross. So I'm like, well, why not add that to these bags? So that is what I did. Hey, Not Crazy. Hey, Jeffrey. Hey, Past. It is afternoon here. It just gives a little bit more sturdiness to the handle. It doesn't affect the bag in any way. Just makes it a little bit that much more stronger, right? And again, it's not necessary to do that. I tend to do overkill. So especially when I'm sewing, because I don't know, I was always of the mind, if you're gonna make something, make it to where it doesn't break, right? So that's essentially all I'm doing, and I'll do that all the way around the bag, or well, you know, on all four pieces of the handle. Oh, this one's going to be short. It'll be okay. So I made that whole box without even having to cut all these frilly things off, or the extra thread off. That's the little shortcut I've seen on YouTube. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. Is it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. Well, whatever day it is, it's Sunday. Lord, I done lost my mind. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. It's what I get for having multiple days off of work. Don't keep up with the days of the week. All I know is I've got one more day off, and then I have to go back to work, right? Just webbing. This is the stuff that I got at Hobby Lobby. That was 99 cents a yard. And it's just called webbing. It's what they use for canvas bags. I think it's plastic because you can take a lighter and burn the edges of it and it like melts into each other. But yeah, that is, and you know, that's, whew, that's that. I'm almost done with this side, and then I'll move on to the other side and get it done. And I know when I have my hand up there, y'all can't see the darn thing. Sorry. Wish there was a way that y'all could see that. And like I said before, this is not necessary to make the bag. I prefer to do it this way because I feel like it gives strength to the handles. Makes it a little bit more durable in the long run. With all these little dangly bits of thread, I can't stand it. And actually, Rabbit's bag, I don't think I cut any of her bag. Like, I just kind of ironed out her, the handkerchiefs and sewed them together. And she got the very first reversible bag that I made, and it's a bit off on the top, but it still functions like a bag. It's still, you know, and it's not going to come apart. As much as I sew these things, I don't think any of it's going to come apart. Hey, Fizz Crank. I know, this is the boring part, right? But the bag is made, and I think I am going to go ahead and go offline and finish the rest of it up. But you guys got to watch me make a bag. Essentially from start to finish. There's 2 videos because I couldn't go live yesterday for some reason. Actually, Not Crazy's the one that helped me fix that issue. But yeah, so I'll see you out on the streets. As I end every live stream that I do, reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a while and let them know that you're rooting for them. If you can't do that, smile at a stranger. They'll either smile back or they'll think you're crazy. And above all else, on these YouTube streets, show a little bit of grace and kindness. You don't know what anybody's going through on a particular day when they type something negative or crazy in the chat. Yeah. Have fun. Bye, guys.